What is up, guys? My name is Andy Slight with Comic Talk. I'm here for my next review. If you have any questions for us at all, just please let us know in the comments below. Or if you have anything for you want us to review, put it in the comments or send us a message on @comictalks@twitter.com. If you can, if you want to have any questions for us, want to know us what we think of Flash or Arrow when it comes out, or Gotham airing this Monday, or Constantine when it comes out, or even the Teen Titans show that might be coming out soon on TNT. Any question, just let us know, please. We greatly appreciate the views that you've been giving us and everything. We'd love to have more. Just let us know. I mean, we're really glad to try and get this maybe up and going. But enough with that. Let's try and go on to the next review, guys. Like I said last time when my review with Batman and the Black Mirror, I've decided to do kind of around the same time is Red Robin by Christopher Yost. Christopher Yost, to me, is a really good writer. He also did a run, or the first review I did was Scarlet Spider. The review for Scarlet Spider, because Scarlet Spider and Tim are kind of very similar characters. Scarlet Spider's kind of more like he's trying to come out of the shadow of Spider-Man, kind of like how Tim is in the shadow of Batman. He's kind of just like he's trying to be his own. He's trying to be his own man and trying to be his own Robin. The time period for when this is set up is right after Final Crisis and right after Battle for the Cowl. The way it kind of goes is after Final Crisis, Batman was killed by Darkseid and sent away. We have no idea. Everybody believes that Batman is dead. We all know that Batman has actually been sent through time. But around the time this happened, that we really had no idea that Batman actually was sent in time. Batman was dead. Batman was gone. It was kind of impossible that Batman was killed. After that, Gotham kind of went out of control, and the whole Bat family was having to handle Gotham by themselves. So they had Battle for the Cowl after that, which is where Dick, Tim, and Jason decide who was going to be the next Batman. It came between them. I have a review for that maybe later on. It's by Tony S. Daniel. The artwork in it is amazing. There's a bunch of images in there. If I had a poster of some of the images in there, it'd be really great. I think it'd be something that could make a killing on. Pretty much after the Battle for the Cowl, Dick Grayson becomes Batman. He talks to Tim in the cave. Tim comes up and decides that he figures that since that Dick Grayson is now Robin, that he's going to be Dick Grayson's. That Dick Grayson is now Batman. That Tim is going to be his Robin. That those two are going to be a Batman Robin team. That he's going to take over the role for Bruce. But Dick pretty much tells him that I don't want you to be my Robin, because Robin needs to be more of a support role for Batman, kind of someone to learn from, someone to kind of work with, that needs to be kind of more like a father-son relationship, that he sees Tim as more of an equal, that of a brother. Like, since Dick is kind of Batman, that he wants Tim to be kind of do what Dick did, that come out of Batman's shadow and kind of do his own thing. I want you to grow, figure out what kind of a man you're going to be. Tim takes it the wrong way and pretty much feels that Damian has stolen the cowl from him, or stole the role of Robin from him. So he decides to go, and in his heart he believes that Bruce is somewhere alive out there. He has no physical proof. He just has this feeling, because Tim is the detective of the Batman family. He's smarter than Dick, smarter than Jason. He has the possibility to be smarter than Bruce in the future. His brainwaves are just like his IQ is off the scale from what Batman has said over the years. He's had him tested multiple times, and he's told Tim that in the future, I'd love for you could be the world's greatest detective. Later on, we kind of noticed that Tim has this idea, because when Bruce taught him that there's always a beginning of a crime and an end of a crime. The beginning of the crime was that Darkseid killed Batman. There's no evidence in the middle. The evidence is always in the middle of the crime. By the end of it, we get the result, which was that Batman is gone, that the Superman had the dead body. But there's no one that actually saw Batman get shot. There's no one that saw. There's no bullet. There's no laser. There's nothing. There's nothing that proves that Batman was killed by Darkseid. There's no evidence. So Tim's going to search around the world that maybe there's evidence somewhere that proves that Darkseid killed Batman. Or if not, that there's proof that maybe Bruce is still out there somewhere. So he decides to he grabs a bunch of old gear and decides to travel the world as Red Robin. He makes some deals and trades and pretty much travels around and makes some deals with the League of Assassins. He figures if anybody knows anything about life or death or coming back from resurrection, it would be the League of Assassins. He makes a deal with Ra's al Ghul to get access to their whole internal network. As we know, the League of Assassins has been around for years, pretty much as long as Ra's al Ghul has been alive. Um, Ra's al Ghul has pretty much all this knowledge and wealth, and he decides that he trusts Tim enough, just barely, just enough to kind of, if it's even considered trust, to let him into his network. He decides to let him use his computers and let him do whatever, pretty much do whatever he wants to try and figure out, as long as he helps him out with his problem recently, which is the Council of Spiders. He's kind of in between this battle now with Ra's al Ghul that the Council of Spiders and the League of Assassins are pretty much kind of trying to wipe each other out. While this is going on, Lucius Fox has some stuff from Bruce Wayne's will that he needs to be taken care of, that he needs Tim back in Gotham now. But since Lucius Fox is running the company by himself, that he needs to go send his daughter, Tam Fox, to go ahead and go and try to find Tim. So she sends him on a kind of a trail right after Tim. While meeting up with Tim, in weird situations, she actually finds out that Tim is Red Robin. So Tam, being as smart as she is, has kind of put together that since he's Red Robin, Dick is Batman, and that Bruce Wayne was the original Batman. But no one really knows who Damian Wayne is yet. He's not really known well enough. He's not known in the more social circles like Dick and Tim is. So she kind of assumes that there's a new Robin, that in some way he's kind of related to Batman also. So she decides and try to kind of force Tim to go back to Gotham. He does not want to go back to Gotham. He wants to find proof that Bruce is out there. While he's doing this, the Council of Spiders has found a way into their network. That Council of Spiders have actually snuck their way into the cave where Tim is staying, while Tim is trying to handle some League of Assassins stuff. While this happens, he takes out some assassins and kind of finds out from the Council of Spider Assassins that they have attacked the cave and that they're trying to take over the whole network of the League of Assassins. That the League of Assassins are pretty much covered and pretty much have all their data on this one computer, and that they're going to hack into the computer and steal everything that the League of Assassins knows. So when this comes out, it comes to where all 6 of their best assassins have come to try and take out Tam. Or check out there, but Tam is still at the cave. So Tim hurries back in just enough time to go ahead and try to fight all 6 of them by himself. While he's fighting them off, you kind of see how Tim Drake fights. Like, Dick Grayson, he kind of feels the fight. He controls the fight. He figures out and fights he can fight multiple guys at once. I mean, he's just like Batman. He knows exactly what to do. He fights in his own unique style, but just like Bruce would. Like Jason would run straight into the fight and pretty much get everything done as fast as possible, and pretty much get what needs to be done as fast as possible and get out of there. Tim is totally different. What he likes to do is he takes his time and makes it a more methodical, more of a slow building fight to make and create openings for him to get out. What he decides to do is while he's fighting him out, he figures out what their powers are, what they do, and what their weaknesses are, to create an opening long enough for Tam to get away. As this happens, he's in the middle of the battle and actually set up a program in the computer for the computer to kind of do its thing and pretty much clear out the files, copy it to his hard drive that he has in Gotham City, and pretty much make himself the main target pretty much paint a big target on his back against Ra's al Ghul, that he's now pretty much wiped out Raz's whole information network. He pretty much clears out the Council of Spiders, who stopped them from taking he has stopped them from pretty much taking the information that the League of Assassins had, and he's decided from Tam, after he saved her, that he's going to go back to Gotham. She's so glad that Tim saved his life, she actually ends up kissing Tim. It just kind of like a survivor's guilt thing, or kind of a survivor's rush from the adrenaline. By this, Tim doesn't really know how he feels about Tam. She's a nice person, and she kind of has a good feel of what Tim Drake is. The way it kind of goes is he decides to head back to Gotham. But the will that Bruce Wayne left behind for everybody, that he's decided that he wants Tim, since Tim is the smartest member of the Bat family, smarter than Dick, that he wants... Damian's too young to run the company. So only person that's legally smart enough to actually run the company is Tim. So he's decided that he wants Tim to kind of be the CEO of Wayne Enterprises. Even though Tim has just turned 18, he's or turned 19, he's now technically an illegal adult to be the legal heir of Wayne Enterprises. So it's kind of come out to the point where Tim is now known as Tim Wayne, not Tim Drake anymore. And that since he's Tim Drake, he's decided to kind of come back and do his thing. He doesn't know how to do it yet. Tam is told that she's got her father Lucius, that he's back in town, that she's got him in there, and that she planned to introduce him, but he's gonna try and get a feel back for Gotham. He finds out that Roz is still in Gotham. That Roz has pretty much told him that he's gonna attack the most important things to him. So he needs backup. So he decides to go to the Batcave, but if you're reading Batgirl at the time, you know that Batcave is not occupied by Dick and Damian anymore. It's actually occupied by Stephanie Brown and Barbara Gordon, who Stephanie Brown at the time is now the current Batgirl, who's actually being trained by Barbara Gordon, which I've read some of that and it's really good. They had kind of a good kind of a Batman Beyond relationship where Stephanie Brown's the physical model while Barbara Gordon's kind of more like the detective brains of the outfit. Sorry, I'm kind of have allergies, but while we have this going down, he goes out and finds out that him and Stephanie kind of ended on bad terms. He told Stephanie that she shouldn't be wearing the costume anymore, that she's kind of been a failure because when she was Spoiler, she always got hurt. She got kidnapped. While she was Robin, she ended up turning her pretty much having to fake her own death and war crimes. And pretty much that she needs to stay away from the cowl and the cape and the costume, that he's afraid that she's going to get hurt, maybe even killed. And she's decided that her and Barbara can have a thing going on where now she's like, I believe that you could be the next Batgirl. You have the potential to be something. So they're running in the Batcave now. While they're running in the Batcave, Tim kind of runs off and they have an awkward meeting with Stephanie where he's more vicious. He's kind of more of a more heavy fighter. He's more into taking more of the heavy shots, the shots that might break someone's arm or break someone's leg. He's more willing to fight like Bruce and take those extra damage to the opponent and make sure that they stay down. So him and Stephanie kind of decide that they're going to try and figure out and kind of lure Ra's al Ghul out. So they lure him out, and it's kind of a weird thing because early days when Tim was first becoming Robin, he met Spoiler and who was Stephanie Brown at the time, or Stephanie Brown who was Spoiler at the time, and they dated for a very long time and had a bunch of different stories together. So they were broken up, and they have a weird kind of relationship where they both still have feelings for each other and they want to get together, but they both have trust issues with each other. They can't trust each other. So it's kind of like they both have a lot of history and they know that their history's bad. They have great history together and they get along great together, but it's just kind of like they have more of there's just something in between them keeping them from getting together. It's more just, like I said earlier, just kind of a trust issue. But they decide to kind of come out and lure the League of Assassins out to find out that all the things they're going to attack is pretty much they're attacking the whole Bat family and Wayne Enterprises. As it comes out, Tim Drake is smart enough and does what Batman would do and stops Ra's al Ghul's plot and ends up deciding to get Dick and Damian back together on his side. Gets Dick and Damian back together and pretty much gets the whole Bat family together for one big thing, and gets them to try and stop all of Ra's al Ghul's plot, which was to bomb Wayne Enterprises, kill Hush, kill everything that's related to Bruce Wayne, kill Bruce Wayne's legacy. By the end of it, it comes to a thing where Tim decides to meet Ra's al Ghul by himself, and he figures that pretty much to tell Ra's that I've pretty much stopped you any way possible. I'm smarter than you, Ra's. I've outsmarted you. I've taken away your network. I've stopped your attacks on my family. All that's left is me to fight you. He decides to fight Ra's, but Ra's is one of the strongest fighters, up there with Lady Shiva and Batman. Ra's, in very short work, does get rid of Tim, and pretty much gets Tim and throws Tim out the window. As he's falling through the window, luckily enough, Dick and Damian have saved him. Tim has a belief that Bruce is still alive, and pretty much tells him that I don't have proof yet, but I'm going to find something that I do believe that Bruce is still out there. And because pretty much that Dick and Tim are brothers, he trusts him and pretty much is accepted back into the Bat family. Alfred decides that he's going to make him more of an updated costume, so he decides to update the Red Robin costume and make him, everything he has a kind of ragtag they just threw together to get out of Gotham as fast as he could. He actually decides to make him more kind of a more streamlined suit, more of something kind of like a Bat family member would wear. Um, once he puts the suit together, if I can show a good picture of the new suit that he has, uh, the new suit that he has, it's definitely way more definitely a improvement over the last one. What he has is that he pretty much makes more of a like. Here's pretty much the look of Red Robin. It's a very cool look. It's very great. There's a running joke in there that he looks just like Doctor Midnight from JSA, which I think is really funny because they do look similar. Also, in the middle of Battle for the Cowl, we had a kind of a moment where Vicky Vale has kind of figured out about the Bat family, that she thinks that Tim is now kind of part of this whole thing, and that she knows that an idea that maybe Bruce Wayne is Batman and that Dick is now the new Batman, and that Damian is Robin, and she's figured this out over the years because she dated Bruce for a long time in the comics, and she's kind of had this idea that Bruce has been doing something behind her back, and she has no idea what it's been. She kind of puts the pieces together, and she kind of runs into Tam and tries to talk it out of Tam. Tam has to come up with an excuse why Tim has always been running off and seems busy. So she comes up with an excuse that her and Tim are actually engaged just to get Vicky Vale off her back. Honestly, they're not engaged, but everybody believes now that they are engaged and that it's kind of a running plot thing. Now, Stephanie kind of sort of thinks it's a real thing, so she's kind of like almost hurt by Tim. Tim has decided that now that he's got so much on his mind that he's running a CEO, pretty much being the CEO of Wayne Enterprises, being the fiance of Tam Fox, and pretty much becoming his own superhero, that he's trying to make some kind of a list to keep everything together, which is the next volume, Volume 3, which is the hit list. What he's decided that there's a couple of people that he has on a list of a people that he believes is like a very dangerous list of a way that he's going to methodically take down a bunch of criminals in Gotham. Like step 1 to step 10 to pretty much clear out a bunch of criminals in Gotham. Also on the list is to find a new place to build pretty much his own little bat bunker, his own little hideout, his own little Robin cave or Red Robin cave. Pretty much get his life back together, because when he left, he pretty much left on terms. He has no place to live. He's pretty much sorry, my camera was acting up a little bit. Pretty much that he needs to pretty much get his whole life back together and get everything good to go. He's decided that he's gonna actually, which I think is a cool idea, he decides to buy the old theater where Bruce Wayne's parents got killed. After he buys the theater, he decides to turn the whole bottom of the basement into his own little Batcave and decides to renovate the theater and kind of keep it as a tribute to Bruce Wayne, that even though his parents were killed, that it's still a great place to go be. Don't be stained by this. Don't need to be stained by one bad memory. It's still a great place to be, and still a great place to. You just got to move past the bad memories and move on with your life. So he turns the theater and pretty much turns this into his own little Batcave on the very bottom, and reinvents the whole place where people can go to it and use it. It's kind of the perfect way to be out in the open and be secret, to keep everything kind of in the bottom and keep everything like everybody's paying attention to the top, watching movies, but while they're watching the movies and having all the loud sound effects from the movies, that no one can pay attention to listen to him or hear him what he's doing in the bottom, which I think is a really genius idea. While this is going on, he kind of gets an idea to lure a supervillain out by faking a death or maybe faking an injury. So he decides to have he has a Neon Knights program, which is kind of a way to help underprivileged kids and get back up and kind of help them out in their life and donate money to them. He's the spokesperson. Him and Tam are the spokesperson for Neon Knights. While he's out there, he decides to lure him out and take a bullet. When he takes the bullet, pretty much everybody thinks that Tim is dead or in the hospital, while Red Robin can go ahead and do their thing. What it actually is, he's decided to get some help from the Teen Titans and gets Miss Martian to disguise herself as Miss Robin, or as Tim Drake do the announcement, and that he can go ahead and watch and figure out who's been trying to take him out. He decides to lure this villain out, catches him, and by the end of this, we actually find out that he's pretty much got his life back together on order, and that by the very end of it, we find out that he actually does have proof that Bruce Wayne is alive. That the proof is that he actually looked through Bruce Wayne's old family records, and that one of Bruce Wayne's earliest relatives is actually Bruce Wayne. So he has an idea that Bruce Wayne is not killed by Darkseid, but is just lost in time. So he has talked to. After this, it leads into the hunt for Bruce Wayne, where I might do a review of that later, where he gets Superman and a bunch of people to time travel to go and find out where Bruce Wayne is. In between this, Bruce Wayne is returned, and at the very end of the issue, we get a very touching moment where Red Robin is pretty much, he's prowling the city, and while he's prowling the city, he gets attacked by someone. What we don't notice is that it's actually Bruce Wayne back as Batman. Bruce Wayne has come back. He's been found by the team that Tim has assembled, and he has a moment which kind of shows kind of everything he's worked for has been kind of culminated into this, where Bruce shows up and pretty much tells him, "Thank you for not giving up on me." Gives him a hug and pretty much tells him that I'm not your dad, but I'm willing to be really close, that we are family, and tells him pretty much good job, which is the best thing you can get from Batman. Just saying thank you, that you did a really good job while I was gone, is a really great thing to hear from Batman, because that's been a whole year where Batman was gone and Tim pretty much was fending for himself. He's back, and he started the idea of Batman Incorporated, which was him and Tim's idea kind of before he died. Before he went away and got lost in time, that there's Batman that needs to be all over the world, and we need to have more Batmen. So he decides that while Dick is doing his thing in Gotham, and Tim is kind of helping out in Gotham now, that Batman can kind of go around the globe and try to find new Batmen for the Batman Incorporated. And if you want to read that, that's a really good run too by Grant Morrison. The end of it is kind of a more emotional moment for Tim, where he goes through his hit list and finds out in Volume 4 that at his hit list he kind of has an option to get Captain Boomerang. Captain Boomerang, if you don't know, is actually the person who killed Tim's father in Identity Crisis. And he kind of has an option that Captain Boomerang is getting out of jail, so he kind of has an option to finally get rid of Captain Boomerang forever. It comes with a plot of events which has a really great ending. I'm not going to spoil that for you. I'm really not, because it has a really good character moment with Tim, with Bruce showing up later and showing him that he did make the right choice, that it's not the choice, it's the choice that make us the man. That he has the option to do something very, very, very bad that could possibly turn him into the dark Tim Drake that we did see in the future of Teen Titans and Jeff Johns' run. What I think of the whole thing is that it's kind of a story that we do like, that Tim is kind of his own man. There's a bunch of actually other stories in here. I don't want to spoil too much for you guys. I told a lot of it. There's just a lot of stories here that's really great and really awesome. Like, there's a design in here where Tim is actually inside a computer in one of the stories. And in one of the stories, he has an idea of what he believes that pretty much what he believes he could be, and he kind of creates a new Nightwing costume for himself as his avatar inside the computer, which is a really cool costume. I wish that was more the costume for New 52. The New 52 costume is cool. I wish it's more something like that, or something more like the original. That's kind of all I have to say about it. It's a really, really good book. If you have a chance to pick it up, I've probably got all of them. You can probably get them real cheap now on Amazon for probably about maybe $10 or $12 each, maybe more. I haven't looked at them recently. I bought these individually at Books A Million for probably anywhere from $10 to $20 each for every single one, because the last one is really thick. I wish there's a series that kept going on. It stopped off after Volume 4 because Flashpoint happened, then New 52 happened, and pretty much stopped the series and rebooted Tim Drake. And if you've seen New 52, that it's changed his whole origin story, and I don't like that version of Tim Drake, that his real name isn't Tim Drake, and that he just don't have the same backstory as he did before. He's never technically was a Robin. I just don't like any of that. But this is a really good kind of thing, because Tim Drake was the first Robin to have his own solo series. Not counting Nightwing, because Nightwing did have a solo series, but he was after he left as Robin. So he's the only Robin to have his own Robin solo series. It's a really good series. I'd recommend picking it up. If not, at least read Volume 1, because Chris Rios is a really good master of his work. He can write a story that can really hook you in. He's a really good voice for Tim Drake. I don't know what much else to say. The art in this is absolutely fantastic. The thing is, like most people, it has kind of the same artist, which I think the main artist is Marcus Toe. And has a couple go through here, because it's collected through an issues of Batgirl where it has a crossover special. It's kind of weird, because when it goes through the Batgirl, the artist there is kind of a real sketchy, a real rough artist. But it's kind of weird how artists go because they have a different rendition of the character. Like in that one, they decide that Tim has long hair or has short hair, but when it comes back to actual Red Robin stories, he has really really long hair. It's just weird how the continuity kind of holds up. But other than that, it's just an artwork continuity thing. But other than that, it's a really great series. Again, like I said, I wish it just kept going. It's a really good series, and it's one of those that I wish that 52 gave some good stories, but it's one of the things I wish it kept going. Like this Batgirl, a couple characters you haven't seen in a while, like Cassandra Cain, which is she shows up in this book in another story in Volume 4. But I really don't want to ruin that because it's a really funny story, and there's a bunch of really good jokes about him. There's a Teen Titans crossover with him, Damian, and Superboy. There's a bunch of crossovers in here. It's him, Damian, Superboy, and the whole Teen Titans team at the moment. Because at the Teen Titans during the time since Tim Drake was gone, Damian took over his role for the team. Again, I really recommend picking this up. This is kind of one of the first kind of non-Batman stories I ever read, or the non-Batman Bat Family related stories. That's all I've got to say. Thanks for watching the review, guys. If you have any comments for us, leave it in the box below. If you have any questions for us, also, or maybe what you want us to review next, let us know on our Twitter page at Comic Talks. We'll try to get us more reviews out for you. I'm gonna probably do a little more than Zach will. Zach has been very busy. With his job, he's very busy trying to deal with iPhones right now. With iPhone 6 coming out. Sorry for dating the video, but he's been really busy and he's been trying to cover everything else, and it's just really hard for him. So I figured I'm gonna try and do a couple more reviews till he can get back up and running. I'm gonna try and get a little more out. We've been trying to get more and more videos out and try to do whatever we can. We're just trying to get as much out as at the moment. It's just both of us are super busy with our jobs and with our lives. Again, thanks for all the support you guys have been giving us on the Twitter page and for the YouTube page for watching some of our videos. Again, if you have any requests for anything, just let us know. Next review I'm probably going to have is going to be Uncanny Avengers, the first volume of Uncanny Avengers. I read some of that and it's really good. I love Rick Remender's writing. He's a really good artist, or a really good writer. I've seen the artist for it, and the artist is really good. I read Avengers vs. X-Men and kind of want to know where it goes after. If you did read Avengers vs. X-Men, I would definitely read Uncanny Avengers. It's kind of like the sequel to Avengers vs. X-Men, kind of like if you want to keep on going after that. Again, thanks guys for watching the video. We'll have Flash discussions, Arrow discussions, Gotham discussions. After Gotham, because I make sure I'm going to try and watch it Monday. I'm trying to maybe get a video out on what I think of Gotham. Maybe Zach will put one up when he gets ready. We might do is maybe have an end of season discussion about Gotham, or end of season of Flash, or end of season of Arrow, which might be a little bit better. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching the review.